Welcome everybody to lesson 26. We are going to be talking about the Pythagorean Theorem. So the Pythagorean Theorem is all about working with a triangle. Imagine you are trying to walk from one corner of a park to the opposite corner. You could walk along two sides of the park, or you could walk straight across the park diagonally. This is the visual we are going to work with in this lesson. Any triangle that contains a right angle, 90 degrees, is called a right triangle. The relationship that exists in right triangles is called the Pythagorean theorem. This theorem helps us find the missing side of a right triangle. That diagonal distance might be harder to measure, but the mathematicians discovered a rule to help us find it. This formula here is the famous formula for right triangles. Side 1 squared plus side 2 squared equals hypotenuse squared. Hypotenuse is our word for that diagonal line in a right triangle. Take a look at this triangle. We have side 1, side 2, and our hypotenuse. That diagonal line going across the park is our hypotenuse. So let's practice. We have an idea of the theorem. Now let's apply it. Here's our example. Determine the value of y in the triangle and explain your reasoning. So because we are working with squares, side 1 squared, side 2 squared, hypotenuse squared, to find the reverse function of that, to find the answer from something that is squared, we are going to be working with the square root function. That is shown over here. So to find x that is squared, to find that x just by itself, we will need to square root it, and that is a function on your calculator. You just look for that symbol, and that will give you your answers. So let's write out our formula. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, this is asking us for our c, our hypotenuse. So we will go a squared, which is 5 squared, plus b squared, which is 12 squared, to find our c squared. 5 squared is 25, plus 12 squared, which is 144, c squared. 25 plus 144 is 169, equals c squared. Now, to find c just by itself, we need to square root this. So c is the square root of 169. C is 13. So that means this over here is 13 meters. So we can put therefore. Those three dots set up like that means therefore x equals 13 meters. And that's our conclusion sentence. Using our words, you can write out, I used the Pythagorean theorem because the triangle has a right angle. I squared the two shorter sides, added them, and took the square root to find the hypotenuse. That sentence is explaining in words what we did with our numbers. At the bottom there, it says that explanation shows your reasoning. And that is one of the success criteria in any math question. If it's asking for you to explain your reasoning, it's asking you to use words in a sentence to explain the steps you did with numbers. Example number 2. Here we have a composite figure. So we have a shape that is made up of two shapes together. So we have a right triangle and we have a half circle, a semicircle, and they're together to make this composite shape. It wants the perimeter. How do we go about this? So the first thing we need to realize is we need to find the circumference of a circle. So we're going to find the circumference of this whole circle, and then we're going to divide it by 2 to take away the half that's not there. So let's do that first. So again, using our formula sheet that we always have handy in our geometry lessons, this is our circumference formula. We have our diameter, which is 6.4. That's showing us the entire width of the circle. 3.14 times 6.4. That will give us 9.54 over 2, because we have to divide the circumference, 9.54. We need to divide it by 2 to get only half the circle. So that will give us 4.77. So that tells us this portion of the shape, half the semicircle, is 4.77 centimeters. Now we need to find these edges. We already have those measurements. 6.4 and 5.5, they're given to us. To find the perimeter of this whole figure, we simply need to add them all together. So we're going to take the half semicircle perimeter, 4.77, perimeter is 4.77 plus 6.4 plus 5.5. Add those all together. .67 centimeters is our perimeter. So we can do a little conclusion sentence. Therefore, our therefore symbol, perimeter equals 16.67 centimeters, period. Now we have another composite shape. We have a rectangle with a right triangle. So the first thing we want to do is we need to find this. We need to find this because that side of the triangle will tell us what that side of the rectangle is. We need to use our Pythagorean theorem to find that answer. We will write out our Pythagorean theorem, and we will go. So we need to find our a squared. B squared, we have b, and we have our hypotenuse. 3 squared is 9, and 5 squared is 25. So now a squared, we'll bring the 9 over to the other side of the equal sign, which makes it a negative. A squared is 16. Now we need to find the square root of that to get a. So a equals 4. So this is 4. So now that we know that is 4 on the triangle, we know this is 4. So now to find the perimeter, it is simply adding all the sides together because we know this is 9 on the rectangle. So now we will add 9 plus 4 plus 9 plus 3 plus 5. We are going to add all the outside edges together. 9 plus 4 plus 9 plus 5 plus 3. And that will give us, quick math here, 9 plus 4 plus 9 plus 5 plus 3 is 30. 30 centimeters. Now, that's our perimeter. I'm just going to make some space here. We're going to talk about the area. So this is 4, this is 9. Okay, area. So we need to find the area of this triangle and the area of this rectangle. We're going to add those two areas together to get the area of the entire shape. So we'll start with the rectangle. So that is 9 times 4. Area 9 times 4 is 36 centimeters squared. And now we have area of a triangle. That will be base times height. Let me find my one paper fell over here. Base times height divided by 2. So our base is 3 times, and we know our height is 4, times 4 divided by 2. 12 divided by 2, 6 centimeters squared. So we have area of the whole shape. We're going to add them together. It's 36 plus 6. So that gives us 42 centimeters squared. So then we can write our sentence. Therefore, the area of our whole shape is 42 centimeters squared. And there you go. Now a word problem. A ladder reaches 5.6 meters up a wall. If the base of the ladder is 2.5, how long is the ladder? So we want to draw a sketch of this. We have a wall and we have a ladder. There's my ladder. And it's going up the wall. And we have a distance from the wall. Let's read what it says. It goes 5.6 meters up the wall. The base of the ladder is 2.5 meters from the wall. How long is this ladder? This is a right triangle. Does everybody see our right triangle? So a squared plus b squared. We know we're using our Pythagorean theorem. We will plug in our numbers. .6 squared. 5.6 squared is 27.04 plus 2.5 squared, which is 6.25, is c squared. Add those two together, you get 33.29. Now we need to square root that to find the number, to find c on its own. So 5.77 rounded So we're going to write, therefore, because we need to answer our question, ladder is 5.77 meters long. And that is our Pythagorean theorem lesson. So good luck with the homework, and I'll see you next lesson.